Meadows here, and welcome back to the channel. And this is the third video in the series. Hope you're all having a great day. Today I want you to learn how to have all your files cleanly onboarded into Panorama with no config errors, fully licensed and ready for central management. Okay, let's get into it. So going back to the last lesson, we stumbled across this error. As you can see, it's referring to NAT configuration that doesn't actually exist anymore. The classic Palo Alto commit error. Nothing builds character like debugging config from 4 months ago. And that you didn't write. Looks like some things have changed since. So as you can see here, I'm going to be removing each rule. As you can see during the commit, there are some errors referring to NAT rules that don't have any addresses. That's why it's erroring. Looks like it's referring to our old autopilot. We're going to copy the names of these NAT rules into a notepad. This gives us a quick reference later, just in case any of these need to be rebuilt or revalidated during the final cutover. Remember, just because a rule looks unused doesn't mean it's safe to delete without some accountability. Now that we've documented them, we'll go ahead and clean these out of the policy. These were likely part of the old VPN config, and since we've already imported this device group once before, then they're valid in this context. Follow up with deletion of this one. Follow up now with the commit. Push the configuration. So it referred to another error in the NAT configuration. So we're just going to copy the name that it came up with, and we're going to paste it into the policy and delete it. Paste it there. And this should come up with the rule. There it is. Delete that. Make sure we document it as mentioned. Now let's hit the commit and validate the commit. Perfect. There was no errors referring in the commit this time. So now we will go ahead and push the policy. Looks like everything worked as expected. So now what we need to do is point the files to the Panorama server. So as you can see, it says out of sync, so we need to get them in sync. So on each file, what essentially we need to do is go onto device, click device, then go to management. Then we need to go onto the Panorama settings, and here we need to set the IP address of your Panorama server. So what I'll do is I'll jump onto the Panorama server, I'll grab the IP address of the Panorama server, and then I'll plumb it into that box there where it says Panorama server. And then what we need to do is we need to obtain the authorization key that is presented from the Panorama server to ensure the trust is correct. So what we need to do is generate that, copy it, and then paste it into the section where it says Auth Key. So that's Firewall 1 completed. Now we need to do the same procedure on Firewall 2. So device management, and in the Panorama settings, plumb in the authorization key and the Panorama server IP as well. That's click OK. So now we need to do the same thing on the Panorama server. How we do this is we get the the serial numbers of the firewalls and add them into this section here. So yeah, I'm just grabbing the serial numbers of each firewall, putting them into here. This will then establish the trust connection with the Panorama server, and then we need to hit the commit on each device, so the configuration is saved locally. As you can see, usually a commit takes around 30 to 60 seconds, so yeah, we just need to wait for that, of course. So yeah, now that's gone through and committed successfully, they should be connected. So what I will be doing now is obviously just checking the event logs to see if the connection with the Panorama server is essentially working and connected successfully. So on each firewall, we go in to monitor and system logs. As you can see here, it's mentioning that the Panorama server is connected successfully. So yeah, let's move on to the next section. Here we need to assign the template and device groups to the firewalls. So first of all, we will be connecting the template to the devices. Templates groups and device groups are how Panorama organizes and pushes configuration. Without assigning the firewalls, Panorama has no idea what settings or policies it should apply. So it's basically connected, not managed. So we've just completed the template group, and now we're going to move on to the device group and add each device, as you can see on the screen here. Click on each device, tick them, click OK. That then assigns them to the device group and template group. As you can see, it should be in this box here. When it says devices, they should come up, which are showing them in the devices, and then we need to commit this again to the Panorama server, hopefully with no errors, and it should push correctly. Should take around 30 to 60 seconds. Again, that's the normal push time that you should be seeing. Okay, so now we need to do the last thing on the list, which is provide the auth keys to the licenses. You'll find the auth key in the portal, the Palo Alto portal. So what you need to do is for each firewall you'll get a number that you just need to enter into each one. This will connect back to the Palo Alto portal, and it will authenticate that these devices belong to your business or to yourselves. So yeah, we need to be going to the devices and then updating the license as